Three, two, one. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Average Jay's Podcast. As always, I'm Jay Justin Ruiz.
And I'm Jay, Jeremy Francois.
So, we would like to welcome you today to what? What's today?
Today
April
is Tuesday.
11th. April 11th in the year of our Lord 2023. For all you newcomers, this is the Average Age Podcast where we remind you of the nerdy news that happened this past week. So we have a pretty loaded docket, awesome, and it's all movies. So strap in because J and J are once again going to the movies.
I was gonna say take you to the stratosphere, but that one's better too.
So first one up, I actually heard about this earlier today, and I was like, I just thought it was super cool. I had no idea that this was a thing, and it's also a little sad. So Lego Batman, the amazing 2017 movie, actually had a sequel that unfortunately we might never see.
It's funny you say that because I remember hearing about it like, oh, it's gonna happen, and then it just got lost in the ether, and now you're just reminding us about it again.
Yeah, and it makes sense because it did such a stellar job, like critically and with audiences. But yeah, we never got one. But apparently, director Chris McKay shared a couple of details about it, and it would have been a Super Friends meets the Justice League meets the Godfather kind of hodgepodge. So basically, it was going to explore the friendship between Superman and Batman and dive into the human aspects of Superman and how hard it was for him to kind of like trust humans and his alienation from human society.
Mm.
Um, why Superman and the Justice League, I mean, why Batman and the Justice League have such a strained like connection. We saw a little bit of that in the
And then,
regular first movie.
yeah,
Um, and the thing that super bums me out is that the script was with Dan Harmon.
oh,
So it
that
was
was
going to be Dan Harmon and Michael Waldron. I actually don't know Michael Waldron, or maybe I do, but
doesn't sound familiar.
it's escaping me right now. But yeah, the script was going to be penned by Dan Harmon. I think that would have been awesome. And in McKay's words, it was going to explore Superman and Batman's relationship in a very different way than you've ever seen it portrayed, including Superman's alienation from humanity and how hard it is to truly be friends, real friends, for years. It was ultimately going to answer the question, how do you become super friends? And there was going to be a crossover with a major franchise that can only happen in a Lego movie. So, Lego Batman had a bunch of crossover like villains and stuff. We also saw it in the Lego movie where they had like unlimited potential to just add in whatever characters they wanted.
Mhm.
So it kind of leaves you to think like what franchise could have entered the mix there.
Yeah,
But
it saddens me because I remember when the first Lego movie came out, that was like the thing, and um then they made Lego Batman, which is part of that line. It's not the Lego Batman movie under Legos or whatever company that does it. You can tell by the animation. I just,
mm-hmm,
it's hard to describe it. And then they made the Ninjago one, which
mm-hmm.
wasn't really well received, really. And then they made a Lego Movie 2, which I still haven't seen yet. I just have it, but it's like I didn't hear anyone like rage about it.
It was
And
okay.
then that we just haven't gotten any more. And I don't know if it was just like the first one was just a one hit wonder. Well, it's just Lego Movie and Lego Batman, and that's it. That
Yeah,
just holds up. And then that franchise just kind of just withered out.
yeah. So it hurts. It saddens me. I'll say because I loved Lego Batman. It's one of the best Batman
Yeah, we've watched
movies.
that many times.
Yeah, the portrayal of Batman, like while it is directed towards a younger audience, it put Batman in a whole new light, and it actually is extremely. It's an extremely emotional movie, showing his like kind of like lonelier side, a side that we know about, and it's been
Yeah,
hinted
we're
at,
definitely aware of. And
but
it's just
like
like,
it really dove into it, like his struggle with having like people close to him because of what happened with his parents, and like it does such a great job in making it a digestible thing for all ages. But Yeah, this came from an interview with Uprocks. McKay was talking about Renfield, his latest movie, and well, his upcoming film, and he said that because Lego is now with Universal and Warner Brothers, it isn't likely, and they might license out for the Batman project. So the license for it is, I guess, expiring, and
What sucks is that
we might not
in
see
this
them even hear about it.
reality, and that's why look, Hollywood has given us great things, but because of suits and licensings, we never get to see what could have been, and
Yeah.
it sucks. But let's just say never, because things can happen.
Yes. I would love to see Michael Cera come back as Robin. Best casting ever.
The character we hate and love at the same time, but
So,
more love.
moving into a character filled with love, we received the latest teaser for Barbie last week. We didn't talk about it on last week's episode. I don't
We
think.
didn't. We
Yeah.
didn't. I think
So
we missed it. Like it dropped and we didn't talk about it. But
yeah,
yeah.
I think it might have dropped the day we actually recorded. But regardless, we're talking about it now. We're jumping into the Barbie world where
I'm a
every
Barbie girl in a Barbie world. And I don't know the lyrics.
classic plastic. It's
Yes, thank you.
fantastic. So just wanted to. I'm sorry, I just couldn't. I couldn't
Yeah,
do
I
it.
was
Yes.
watching myself in the feedback.
Um, but yeah, we just wanted to kind of dive in here. We finally got to look at the cast lineup and like who they're going to be, which is I thought pretty fun. We're having multiple Kens, a lot of Barbies, but only one Alan. So
Mm,
Alan is what I found out. Michael Cera's character, he's actually Ken's best friend from the early 1960s. And apparently, his whole thing was like he was Ken's best friend, and you could swap clothes between, like he could fit into all of Ken's clothes.
that's funny.
That was his deal. Like, but he was very much the second banana to Ken. But we
Mm.
got to see a bunch of other Kens in this movie.
Simu Leo.
Simu Leo being one of them, and he clearly has like sort of like beef
He
with
has more. He has a little more bravado than Ryan Gosling's Ken.
yes, which leads to a fantastic exchange on the beach. Please go watch this trailer. It was absolutely perfect from the opening where we see her walk up in her heels, and then she steps out of her heels, and her feet are still like arched,
Mm.
which was I thought amazing, just
It's
because
nice.
that's
It's
the
a nice
doll.
nod to that because like when I was younger and I always see that, it was just so weird they never were flat-footed or regular footed, if
Yeah,
that makes sense. And then I was like, that's weird, just everyone's that way. And I wanna say Ken is flat foot,
yeah,
I
I think
believe,
so. I
because
believe so.
yeah.
But
So
Bart,
that was cool though.
yeah, just having that added like detail of like, no, those are her feet, just like the doll. I thought was super fun. Greta Gerwig is
Mhm.
just killing it with these cheesers. Like the original one that we got was great. We had that literal like shot by shot recreation of was it 2001, right? And now having these little things, with the feet, with Michael Cera's introduction as Alan, all the Kens, all the Barbies, they all have their own roles. Um, we also see that there is a connection to the real world. It looks like
Yeah.
Margot Robbie's Barbie and Ryan Gosling's Ken make their way in her Malibu sports car, I believe. They make their way into the real world. There are other humans, people like America Ferrera, Will Ferrell. I believe they're going to be playing like workers or employees of Mattel.
It seems, and speaking because we just talked about Lego movie, it kind of is reminiscent of that. Something I saw as well online. I don't know if it's people just like not nitpicky, just reaching. It
Mm,
seems like there's a time differential. Like Ryan Gosling looks the same, but his hair grays out. But I think that was just the coloring of the
mm,
of the
yeah,
the scene. Like in the scene where he pops out of the back of the car, his hair looks a little grayish. But I
yeah,
was like, I think people are reaching.
yeah. I feel like that'd be the same thing, right? But alongside this teaser, last note here, they gave a slew of character posters, all with the famous Barbie Mattel backdrop,
Yeah.
and each actor or actress is listed as either Barbie or Ken.
Yeah.
So for the Barbies, we have Margot Robbie, Hari Neff, Emma Emma Mackey, Dua Lipa as the Mermaid Barbie, Anna Cruz Kane as Supreme Court Justice Barbie, Sharon Rooney as Lawyer Barbie, Issa Rae as President Barbie.
Oh, nice.
Oh my
I was
God,
wondering who she was.
totally forgot about this. Kate McKinnon as like the broken, like drawn on,
That makes
messed up
sense
Barbie.
because I remember seeing that scene. I was like, I wonder if she's that type of Barbie, and then that did nice. That's nice.
So awesome. A couple of more. There's Barbies of all shapes, sizes, races, ethnicities. It's awesome. And then for the Kens, we have Ryan Gosling as the main Ken, Simu Leo as Ken, Nkudi Gatwa. I don't know if I pronounced that right. I might have just butchered that.
I how do you is it how do you spell the first letter?
Ncuti.
Okay.
Kingsley Benadir, Scott Evans, and then the one and only Alan Michael
He's
Sarah.
in why is it he's in that popular show on Netflix. Is it Sex Education? And Emma Mackey is in that show too, who looks just like she's known for looking like Margot Robbie.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I believe she plays a Barbie in there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
so
stoked
we
to
we
see
got
it.
a bunch of insight into the movie. Fun. Remember, this is just another teaser. We haven't even gotten the full trailer yet. But I feel like we've gotten a lot. So, or no, I'm sorry. This was the first full trailer. So I probably won't even watch anymore because we've gotten so much information on this. Like I feel like I don't need any more. But
Yeah, this one did a good job on that.
yeah. But if you have not seen it, go ahead and check it out. Next one coming up. Great segue with talking about that show from Netflix because we have another Netflix show that we're going to be talking about really quick.
Yes.
Everyone's favorite Stranger Thing, pause for effect, is being turned into a Saturday morning cartoon. So Stranger Things is getting a full-fledged animated series on Netflix. So
Mm.
I was super like, huh, about this. Like I was interested. I'm hoping that it's leans a little more towards like anime, like maybe like that type
Like
of.
the same, almost like the same production. Is this? I feel like this would be too hardcore, but like Castlevania
I
or
was just
less
gonna
than
I
that.
was just gonna say I would love
Mm.
it to have the Castlevania treatment because I think that's the perfect studio and animation to go with this.
Yeah. You know what it is too with Castlevania. They were, I guess, they were testing the waters because this started out with 4 episodes.
Yeah.
But Stranger Things does have a large following, so I think if you make that company can do it, and animation not cost, but animation takes a lot of work,
Hmm.
so they would have to hit the ground running with that one.
Yeah. So apparently, according to Variety, Netflix ordered a currently untitled Stranger Things animated series from the Duffer Bros, Eric Robles, and Flying Bark Productions. In a press release, the Duffers stated, "We've always dreamed of an animated Stranger Things in the vein of Saturday morning cartoons that we grew up loving." So that is one little line that gets me like, maybe it won't be as like
Like serious, you mean? Or
professionally animated, like
I
on
think it
that
could work.
Castlevania status. If it's a Saturday morning cartoon, that leads me more to like, I don't know. The first thing
Don't.
that
Yeah,
came
I
to
would
mind is
say
like
like
Care
don't.
Bears.
Yeah, I was. It's funny that your mind went there. I went to Jackie Chan Adventures because that's even giving it a little more grace. Because I
Yeah.
would, I again like whenever I think of like when I want to create something
Hmm.
and I want it to be in that vein, I wouldn't call it an anime in a sense because it has that anime sheen to it. But now if you're
Hmm.
saying the studio is going to be behind it, that means and at this point we're just sitting here speculating.
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard to say. But the fact that your mind went to Care Bears, I could imagine like a dark Care Bears.
I'm just I think the reason why, because they said the '80s Saturday morning cartoons. So you got things like GI Joe, Care Bears, My Little Pony, Strawberry Shortcake. I mean, I
I know
guess
what you're
the
talking
real
about. Like,
Ghostbusters.
yeah,
They
I
all
think
kind of shared that same animation style.
I would like to assume, and this is just me putting my foot in my mouth. I would like to assume that they're not talking about the style of animation, but
Mm-hmm.
just the feeling,
Mm-hmm.
because it seems like, and we can't take emotion from just this line that he just said, but I would hope to say this is just a passion thing.
Yeah.
That he's like, I can't wait to bring them back. Because what struck my chord is, what if I ever, God willing, future best-selling author here, um, I get into a streaming service and I'm like, hey, I only want this to be shown every Saturday morning. Like,
Yeah.
that is just like a feeling that I would like to give to the future generation, that
Yeah,
they're
something
not
to
going to
look
be able.
forward to, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So I would hope they're going in some similar vein. But
mm-hmm.
that, again, that's just me assuming.
Yeah. No, I mean they totally could. I would love to see it in like that WB Kids, Fox Box, like Saturday morning feel where animation and story were actually a little more polished in those types, right? Jackie Chan Adventures, we had the 2003 TMNT
That was on Fox Kid,
on
Fox
Fox
Box, yeah.
Box, and then we had, a bunch of other stuff.
But a lot of Fox shows were like anime that were edited, so we
Yeah,
can't really.
I will forever say bring back Fighting Foodons. I don't care.
Sonic, Ultimate Muscle, Fighting
Ultimate,
Foodons, like you
oh,
said.
Ultimate Muscle. Yes. Anyway, I
Speaking of just
digress.
random sidebar, it's coming back.
What's coming back?
Ultimate Muscle.
No, it's not. Shut up.
Yeah, not I don't believe it's gonna come back as like a Saturday morning thing, but I think in Japan, like the actual is gonna come
Oh,
back.
the actual anime is coming
Like,
back.
yeah, not
Oh,
edited.
that's dope.
Yeah, but
Definitely
that's
gonna
something
watch
for
that.
another day. Something
Yes.
for another day.
But talking about things that bring us to our childhood, the House of Mouse has released a new trailer for Peter Pan and Wendy, and
I saw that. I didn't see the trailer, but I saw that they did. You saw
I
it?
yeah, I saw it. I watched it. I will say I am. It's getting me to a place where like I've gone from like cautiously optimistic to
Mm.
optimistic.
And remind me, is it a show or a
No, so
movie?
this is gonna be a movie. It's a full fledged movie.
Mhm.
Jude Law is playing Hook. We have a
Yes.
couple other actors in there, but that's the one that like sticks with me, I guess. But it looks pretty cool, man. It's very similar to Neverland back in 2004 or something like that.
Mhm.
It's not as like I feel like a lot of that movie had that dark blue filter on it. It's not like that, but it does have this more realistic tone. We see in it we see Tinkerbell come in, sprinkle the darling kids with the fairy dust. They capture Tink just like in the original. Wendy, Thomas, and James, I think.
Mhm.
Anyway, Wendy and her brothers, they're there. Peter Pan comes in, saves Tink, and they're like, "We're going to Neverland," and they do the whole thing. We get to see Captain Hook, his crew. We got a shot of the crocodile, um, and which was pretty fun. And of course, Tinkerbell. But what was pretty fun is we got to see Tiger Lily again, and you see her.
Mhm.
She looks like she's almost like a warrior princess type, not very much like the normal like Native American princess that we saw her as in like previous installments. She
Yeah.
seems a little more badass. Um,
Okay.
so it looks like they're kind of like giving her character some more depth. Always a good thing, and it just looks cool. It looks like a fun time. I'm officially optimistic, and I will eventually get over Peter Pan not having red hair, but I get it. And yeah, I'm excited for this. I want to see how it plays out. It looks like the quality is there, and it looks like the cast is really good just from like the
Yeah.
little interactions they had. We got to see the Lost Boys in the teaser as well as this one, and it I just want to see everyone's chemistry like in the movie. So I think
Okay.
that's really what's gonna set it off because it looks great. I think it's just the
From
actors
what I remember
themselves.
in the teaser, it does look good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Right.
that's the main thing.
When you bring up the red hair, and I'm sure I mentioned this once before, is like either they do it crazy and they pull a Riverdale and they make Archie's hair just it stood out. Like
Yeah.
he had it wasn't Ariana Grande's red hair
Hmm.
back in the day, but it was like an fiery red.
Yeah, it was
And in
fiery.
this bluish tonish filter on Riverdale. So on this one that would just stick out. So it's just like he doesn't need to have red hair.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I'm coming around to it. I'm giving it its due. I'm respecting the decision. I would not have done that to everyone, but whatever. I
Yeah.
didn't direct
Let
it.
it go. Like Frozen.
Sticking with the House of Mouse, but moving into a whole other property that it owns. Obviously, we're jumping into the world of superheroes and Marvel. Speaking of Marvel, the
there's
Marvels,
there's three of them.
the Marvels have had their first trailer revealed, and it is a trailer. You know, did you
I
see
like
it?
that.
You liked it?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, like it makes it. If I watch this movie, it would wash out the feeling of me not caring for Miss Marvel. Again, we
Yes.
spoke about it. I don't think it's a trash show. I would
Hmm.
never say it's a trash show. Out of respect for people who did the hard work, it just wasn't geared towards me. I
Hmm.
just watched it to get my. I need my. You know what it is? I'm a connection. I don't want to be crass about it, but I just fiend for connectivity.
Yeah.
So I will sacrifice certain my feelings about qualities of certain shows or movies
Hmm.
just to connect me to the next thing.
Yeah.
So I did like her, I believe, as
Hmm.
Miss Marvel. So seeing this trailer, I thought it was good, and then because it has this movie quality, they have to up the costumes, everyone's design. It's cool to see everybody from the show come back, especially from Monica Rambeau from WandaVision come
Yeah.
back into this bigger stage. Um,
Even Kamala Khan's family, like them
yeah,
showing
like
up,
that
like
that
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 is
whole
cool.
family. Yeah. Questions like Nick Fury. I was like, we got secret. Like, where is this gonna tie? Like, that's why I'm like, I'm gonna see this, even though I'm not. I wasn't didn't really care for the first movie.
Hmm.
I'm there for Nick Fury. I'm like, where? Why are you connected to this? When do you connect to this? Brie Larson. Sorry, I'm gonna be a masculine person about this, but she looked great. Monica Rambeau, she looked great. Um, but that brings me
Yep.
to this thing too, and I hate saying this, but this is the thing people say. Black Twitter say, like they're just gonna see this movie from Monica Rambeau because they saw, because what was it? They saw her butt in freaking WandaVision. They're like, that's what it's Monica Rambeau and the Marvels. That was one of the things I saw, but it looks good. It looks good.
I mean, aside from the male gaze,
Yeah.
um,
Aside from that,
they do look fantastic.
we watch what we say.
But we are allies. And
That is true.
I feel like this, it's a teaser trailer, so it's fine. You're not meant to have all the answers. Um, I want the full trailer, and then I'll weigh in. I care about this movie. Captain Marvel, when it came out, viewed it as a little bit of a letdown. To me, it was very mid.
It was shoehorned in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was very mid, and it could have been better. Um, Whereas like Miss Marvel on Disney Plus, I enjoyed most of it. There are a lot of pitfalls, but I enjoyed the portrayal of the character. I enjoyed her progression. But there's a lot of things with the show that I didn't love. So
Agreed.
seeing her, like you said, on the big screen, I think is like a great palate cleanse. We're getting the connection from the show. We have all the family members there. I'm sure there'll be deeper connections. Um, and then we have the connection from Captain Marvel as well as WandaVision in the form of Monica Rambeau. So the one thing that I'm like, and I mean, I guess this is what the teaser trailer was meant to
Yeah,
do.
we're probably on the same page.
I'm very interested in why their powers are making them switch places.
and and again we get into speculation
Yeah,
territory where it's like, does it have to deal with like this ancient stuff, like even Simulio's rings? it,
yeah,
it just gets into all that with the Eternals. They could do whatever they want. But I don't know if you would agree with this. My concern for the movie is I understand it's called The Marvels.
Yeah.
Um, Personally, I don't feel that Captain Marvel has a lot of humanity in her. I don't like you said, Captain Marvel the movie was just shoehorned in.
Yeah.
She was there, so she had to be there for the Thanos fight. Like, I don't. She's very two dimensional to me. She just was like, I don't know. She was just two dimensional. I didn't really believe. I don't believe her. Again, I love Brie Larson. She's great, but I just don't believe Captain Marvel. Like, from the little that I've known about her in the comics, I believe that more. She has more personality. That's the word I was looking for. So with this being I don't think there's a lead in this movie. Uh it seems like the three are sharing
Yeah.
this lead role. And I'm like, am I going to find out more about Captain Marvel? Because to be honest, her mini flashbacks in the first movie wasn't. It didn't sit with me. I can't tell you what she went through, what
Yeah.
her problems were. At the end of the movie, spoiler alert, when she's doing her second rising action, or her, I guess her rising action, or whatever the, it's just escaping my mind. But when she, when you're coming back from getting up, I mean from falling, it just shows her through time getting up, like as a kid,
Yeah.
as a, and then it's just like showing her like being, I can do this. And I was
Hmm.
like, oh, that was a cheap way to do it. I just don't know who she is.
Yeah, and I think
So that's what I'm afraid, because I know who Monica Rambeau is.
mhm,
I know who
Kamala
Kamala
Khan.
Khan is. The only thing I know about, and the reason I know a lot about Monica Rambeau is because we saw her in Captain Marvel as a kid, and then we get to see her as an agent. And I was like, we saw all these things that were great, but Captain Marvel, she's the only one I don't know much about. I don't know her personality. I don't know what her dislikes are. I'm
Yeah.
sure she has some dislikes that we've seen, but what is her favorite ice cream? Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
we've gotten a lot of like we got series on both of them that flesh out the characters, whereas we didn't get that with Carol Danvers.
and then I will hope this one does.
Yeah, like I enjoy the character of Captain Marvel, the Carol Danvers one, and I that movie, like I said, it just didn't do enough justice to the character and the depth that she actually does have.
Mhm.
It I think it kind of set her up to have this almost like holier than thou thing, which is a
Mhm.
little weird. I get it because sometimes she does have that a little bit of arrogance in her character, but we saw that even in the Avengers movies and stuff. Like she was very like, "Oh, I got this. Like I can do these things," and
Yeah,
like,
because she disappears. Mind you, she was in the 90s,
yeah,
disappeared, and she comes back. It's like, what was this growth that she's been through?
exactly. So I need
So
more.
I
Like
would hope in this one she, and they give us that.
yeah, like her adventure on Earth in the '90s was fine, but it was very much like it was a constant go go go. We didn't have enough time to really latch onto the character. So with this one, what I've been seeing rumors is the leading. Well, I guess not the leading, but the villain is Carol Danvers' half sister. So she's a Kree that actually rises through the ranks and becomes an accuser, just like Ronan.
Oh, I saw snippets of who the villain could have been, and I was just like, I'll find out later.
Yeah. So
But mm,
so we could get some insight into Carol Danvers' background with through them exploring that if that's in fact the villain. The only other thing is they might be kind of like teeing this up to be another weak Marvel villain because this villain was only introduced I think 3 or 4 years ago in the
ah,
comic books.
it's kind of like Gore, which they could have done a lot with Gore. Gore is
Well,
a
Gore had
very,
a lot behind him, whereas
and
like
they didn't do
I don't
much.
know really anything about this villain. I don't. I forgot her name. I was reading up on it earlier,
Mm.
but yeah, the biggest point is that it's the half sister of Carol Danvers. So we shall
I hope
see.
they,
You
yeah, I
know.
hope they emotionally tie that, because that's something that we need to. I need to, again, and nowadays, and I'm sure the regular normies of going to movies should know, the best villain is the most humanistic villain. Like, we need to be able to be like, oh damn, like I get it. I would have gone villain too. Like
Yeah, we
that's
need to
what we need
know
to
their
feel.
motivations.
Yeah. Like not Ronan. Yeah, Ronan. In, well, he was a bad guy in Guardians. he was a bad guy in Guardians, right? He was the main villain.
Yeah, Ronan. Yeah,
But he shows up. He shows up in um in Captain Marvel, but he wasn't really like the true villain. He was just there.
yeah, he was just there.
Yeah.
So
Anywho,
yeah, so that's something to keep an eye on. This was again a teaser, so hopefully when we get a full trailer, some of these questions are answered and it piques our interest, with what we have going on, right?
facts.
So moving over to the other wing of the House of Mouse, we have Star Wars. So Star Wars Celebration 2023 just happened, and there's a lot that came from it.
Are we just gonna run it down? Because there's a lot. No,
So I think the best way for this to go down is for me to just run through it, and then we could talk about whatever has come up after, right? So we have three films directed by James Mangold, Dave Filoni, and Charmin Obaid Chinoy. I'm sorry if I destroyed that name,
so
but
messed up.
we have those three films that were announced. Um, we have Daisy Ridley returning to Star Wars in a movie set after the rise of
A little upsetting, but
Skywalker.
cool.
It's set 15 years after the events of the rise of Skywalker. I did see something. I don't think it's true, but I saw a leaked image that had her pregnant. I think it's a fake, but
If they're following the Marvel way of
mm-hmm.
false advertising,
Yeah,
it's such an extreme. But then it's
yeah,
like, why show that behind closed doors when we didn't even get to see anything? So
yeah,
if you're showing stuff behind closed doors, that has to be true. But
yeah,
then also, I'm scared.
yeah. I hope it's not because it wouldn't make any sense, but whatever. Um, Kathleen Kennedy says that the new Star Wars films are pretty far along in development, so we're talking about mostly through filming, apparently.
Yeah,
Um, Star Wars is looking into the beloved era known as the Old Republic. They're trying to make most of that universe canon. Um,
and remind me, Old Republic is supposed to be uh, before the Empire,
yeah,
right? And High
older.
Republic is before that
Yeah,
because that's the highest point of the
yeah,
civilization. That's how I try to remember it. Okay.
correct. Dave Filoni has confirmed that his Star Wars movie is a Mandalorian finale, and it's the next logical step. We haven't gotten a lot of things, but it is set in a New Republic period. We also
Which
got
makes sense.
Ahsoka release window and trailer, with a season 2 being teased as well. Rosario Dawson, we've known this for a while. She is going to be starring as Ahsoka. It's like a grown up
I'm
version of
happy
her.
that Thrawn voice actor is actually playing Thrawn.
Yes, the voice actor from Rebels, Lars Mikkelsen, will be playing the live action Grand Admiral Thrawn, and the series of Ahsoka seems to be following the search for Thrawn, like Ahsoka trying to confront him and make sure he's
Which she started in Mandalorian.
yeah,
Well, not started, but we know she's searching for him in Mandalorian.
correct. Mary Elizabeth Winstead is playing the live action version of Hera.
Hera, yes.
She did the voice acting for her as well in Rebels.
It
Um,
only makes sense to get the voice actors to do these
yeah,
things. Like,
it's perfect because their ages all line up to the timelines. Like if they didn't, it would have been an MMO, massive missed opportunity. So what else? Okay, apparently Rosario Dawson trained 14 hours a week to recreate animated show stunts, which is pretty nuts.
oh, nice.
Mon Mothma got shown in the trailer.
She did.
Andor season 2 is aiming for an August 2024 premiere date.
I thought you were gonna say 2023. I would be like,
No
yeah.
way.
They've just been filming behind scenes just every hour, just to give it to us.
So, speaking about the High Republic, like we were just mentioning, the Acolyte will be taking place during the end of the High Republic, and it's making its way to Disney Plus in 2024. Apparently, the first details say that it's Frozen meets Kill Bill,
Yeah, I
which
did hear that.
sounds ridiculous.
I can't imagine those two in the same space. But you know what? Give
I'm
it to me.
here for it. If it's
Give it.
done correct, I am here for it.
If you're gonna give me a version of Let It Go, but with sabers, I want it.
So
Let the
apparently, the
force go.
showrunner for The Acolyte is set on challenging the Star Wars universe. Leslie Headland, hope I pronounced that right, is here to take on the Star Wars universe, and is not just because her show is told from the perspective of a Sith. Remember, um, you just go. So a quote from her: "You just go, well, where's the part that nobody's going? What's that about?" And so, to me, the institution of the Jedi was that. So they train children, and that seems super complicated a thing. It's not criticism. It's just like, well, that seems strange. So she's really just kind of like, I guess we're gonna see Jedi in a whole different lens. Like,
Yeah,
instead of it being the norm for us to look at and be like, oh, this is, whatever, we're gonna see it from the lens of like, why are they doing that? This seems weird. Which I think
yeah,
I'm pretty about. I like that.
yeah. Because it's like, um, first of all, I like the fact that we're getting this because we we would get what was that? What was it? Vision season one. We wanted something like that with the first episode, so we're gonna get it. But that is it's the greatest selling point. It's the other side of. Ooh, what just happened? Am I still there? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so it's like what is going on with the Sith side?
Hmm.
I like that. That's a great selling point. Whoever made that pitch deserves 300 raises. I don't know how much that is, but give them 300 raises.
So
I'm
apparently,
all for it.
Headland told IGN that the Frozen part of this is that it's a sister. It focuses on like a sister relationship,
Hmm.
and the villain actually being a powerful, misunderstood woman. And then for the Kill Bill part, it's a really good reference for the modern day martial arts film. So, uh, so the design action team and design team pulled stuff from Shaw Brothers to
Kurosawa.
Kurosawa,
I
but
just know that.
also films like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So the fight scenes are gonna be crazy. That's what I'm hearing. Like absolutely
And the
ridiculous.
thing is, like, I wonder what kind of animation style this is going to be. Like, is it going to be like Clone Wars, or is it going to be a new animation? Like we had Clone Wars, and we had Rebels, and then we had the garbage Resistance, and then are we going to get something different?
Well, I don't. Is the Acolyte?
I always thought it was going to be animation.
Is it?
If it isn't, please do it well. But if it is, let me actually look up if there's anything on that.
I because
Because
I'm not seeing anything in this breakdown that it's animated. No, it's live action. Yeah, I'm really excited for you guys to see things you haven't seen in live action yet. That comes from Kathleen Kennedy.
okay,
Yeah,
well, I'm not mad at it. It just you can push more with animation. And the thing is,
yeah,
and not to like kind of come for Mandalorian as of late, like some of the quality is just little
stale.
because some of the I feel like because Mandalorian is getting all this attention and love, they're like, let's put more money into this, and then more investor means they want to see these things happening, and it just looks so cheesy. With with animation, if you wanted something like that, it still flows. You can't really see the quality because the quality is already at a high standard.
Hmm.
Um, but again, the Acolyte is a risk taking move. I hope it gives me Andor vibes in the sense that big suits are not putting their hands on this.
No,
So,
yeah, I hope so too.
like McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Okay. So, Star Wars Skeleton Crew was also announced, the Disney Plus series that's set to arrive in 2023. Um, they shared the trailer, but there's very little news that they can give at the moment. They did show the directors of the series, which include John Watts, David Lowery, the Daniels, Jake Schreier, Bryce Dallas Howard, and Lee Isaac Chung. So a couple of names in there. Tales of the Jedi is officially getting a second season.
Hyped.
Bad Batch gets its third and final season announcement.
That was, oh my God, such an emotional roller coaster.
Star Wars Visions Volume 2 gets a first look, which was pretty dope. I saw the trailer.
Nice.
Um, the Lando Calrissian series is definitely still happening. So, speaking to IGN at Star Wars Celebration, Kathleen Kennedy revealed that the long dormant show, probably starring Donald Glover, is still happening, though didn't share much as to when we might see it. I can just tell you it's still happening and he's very excited about it. She said, all but confirming that Glover is definitely on board. That I don't know about you guys, but that made my nipples hard.
Yeah.
So
Send chills down my spine into the tailbone.
Taika Waititi is still working away on his Star Wars film. His Star Wars film has not been scrapped by Disney despite its absence in Star Wars Celebration 2023. Speaking to Variety at the event, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy said Taika is still working away on the film and it's just taking a while because he doesn't want anyone else helping in the script. Booyah! If
Yeah.
if that is not something that like reeks of like Love and Thunder sucked because so many people touched it, like I'm happy he's sticking to his guns and making sure that he's the
Yeah.
one crafting this
I would
story.
love I would love for the people listening. It is not Taika Waititi's fault because of Love and Thunder. Because look, he gave us Thor Ragnarok. Like you think he would do something that bad? Like he was just there just to sit on the chair.
Mm-hmm.
That was it.
So, Star Wars Jedi Survivor got its final gameplay trailer. It will launch later this month. Um,
Excited
and
for
okay, they showed a teaser for episode 7 of The Mandalorian, and they've also
tomorrow.
they've also confirmed that Din Djarin is no longer the only main character, which I mean we've been seeing as the show has gone on.
Yeah.
Bo-Katan has kind of like been sharing the spotlight last couple episodes. Um, Ewan McGregor really wants Obi-Wan season 2, but apparently Lucasfilm does not just yet.
They just need to leave it alone. Just leave it alone.
Speaking to Variety at Star Wars Celebration, Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy explained how Obi-Wan actor might want another season, but it's not something the studio is considering yet.
You know what I would want? Hear me out.
Mm-mm.
Just give me a Vader movie, a Vader show. Just, but in the opposite
I
end.
feel like there wouldn't be enough.
There is. Like,
Yes.
there is, like, I think it would be a nice contrast. Like, don't give me a first, don't give me a parallel story. A parallel story would be dope. That kind
Mm-hmm.
of leads into it, but then that would be bad. Give me something that he's, give him a mission. Having read the first couple issues, actually volume 1 of Darth Vader,
Mm-hmm.
they have a lot to play with. Again, you don't want to rehash the stories because those
Yeah.
are canon, but you can pull from the legends and give me something new.
I say, hear me out.
I'm hearing.
Do a time skip.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like 8 years later,
Mm-hmm.
he's already trained with Qui Gon. He's still in the shadows, and now he's doing kind of like the same thing, and have it the same thing as season 1, right? But have it end right before
A New
Luke
Hope.
comes to see him. Like have it end with,
Oh, we gotta use a lot of makeup on Ewan
well, I
McGregor.
mean, yeah, I'm sure they can do it, but I mean, I have a feeling that they wouldn't even address that just because like what in 8 years he's gonna he's gonna age 20 years, you know.
No, they
But
wouldn't address it. You're right, but no, yeah, it's that's fine. It's just like, what was he doing? Like, I think the whole point is to stay secluded. If they decide to do it, they have to pull something to be like, why wasn't he found? It's like, it would have
well,
to
it
be
would
really dope.
he's we got to remember he's been this guardian angel waiting in the wings all this time, but now
Like, if it's
he's
someone trying to, like, if someone found him,
yeah
found Luke, and then, but the thing is, Luke and family don't know what's going on.
yeah
So it
exactly
would have to be, a truly, old man Logan, like Clint Eastwood, like
Yeah,
I'm doing stuff from the side, but no one and like they have to be like citizens. They don't know what's going on. That is the last time, like in the spoiler alert, if you saw the end of Kenobi, he meets Luke for the first time,
yeah,
and that should be the last time, so he doesn't see him until A New Hope.
yeah.
That is a cool idea. We just have to get something really good,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
because that
there's. I feel like there's a lot that we could pull from. We can also grab. We can have
Hayden.
teenage Leia in there because she
Oh,
does know about Obi-Wan beforehand. We can have him. We can have a live action thing about Darth Maul finding him. Maybe an episode just around Darth Maul, like tracking him to the planet, like we saw in Rebels. Have that parallel, like what we've seen in animation, and bring it to live action. Um, and then we could also have stories about Vader, what he's doing. Like I feel like there's a lot of things that we can have, and this could be
I feel
like,
like that's just very Tales of the Jedi,
I
and I would
guess,
just
yeah,
rather get that.
very true.
But um, also, just a little sidebar. So there, FX, an FX worker, not FX the studio, like
Yeah,
visual
visual
effects,
effects.
from Andor, took it upon his own, which thank God. Because look, I love Kenobi for what it was, but this guy elevated it with such small changes. I'm gonna send it to you off air.
Mm-hmm.
It's called, and he retitled the title. It's called Kenobi: Trials of a Master, and I was
Mm.
like, wow. So two scenes I'll tell you about, and you're gonna be like, wow, that does elevate it a lot more.
Yeah.
So a lot of racist nerds out there, when they did their own edits, they remove the Black Inquisitor. I forget her name. They just remove her just to remove her, and I'm
Yeah.
like, it doesn't push the story forward. Why are you
Yeah.
hating? Anyway, that's just me ranting. But this guy, all he did was start editing some things. So there's a scene where Vader's sitting on his throne, but there's just nothing there. He's just sitting there while the camera's pushing in.
Mm-hmm.
What this guy did was he added a big hologram of the entire galaxy where every red dot on there was a confirmed kill of a Jedi. And he's, in a sense, it kind of is like he's looking for
Yeah. Obi
Kenobi.
Wan. Yeah.
So it's like I'm like, yo, just something like that elevates the story a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
He changed certain things like the fight between Kenobi and Vader,
Mm-hmm.
instead of it being all in the dark where it was kind of hard to see, he kind of threw bluish background stuff like blue lava or whatever, blue light, to kind of
Okay.
contrast the fight they had in Mustafar
Mm-hmm.
where it was red. So he
Yeah.
said instead of red, it's blue, and I was like, I gotta send you a. He made a trailer for it.
Well, I
It's
mean, if you think
on
about it, it's like the red is kind of showing like the birth of the Sith, whereas the blue is like the reawakening of the Jedi. So that's
in a
fun.
yeah. So like, there's other things, and he act again. He took it upon himself to hire actors to do certain fight choreographies, and but he had to use a lot of, again. He's a great
Yeah.
effects artist, so he had to make sure the, like, if they're doing a swing or a gun picking up a blaster, it has to fit so they can edit it into the thing. But when it's finally done, which I believe it's going to come out in the summer, he's going to put up a link so you can watch it, because obviously it's not done by Disney,
Yeah.
but it's something like, oh, I can just watch this and be like, wow, this was better than the actual
That's pretty
show.
crazy that they're allowing him to do this and like not taking it
Well,
down.
yeah, but it's like he's not making money out of it. He's doing it like it's his money that he made from
Yeah.
working on Andor.
I
So
guess it's like
because
a
think about it,
fan project, right?
yeah, because like, remember that project I did with when I combined end of episode 1 with the ending of season 7 of Clone
Yeah.
Wars. Like, it's just me doing that, but just giving people the link to watch it.
Hmm. True.
Now,
True.
if they
True.
were like cease and desist, I'm like, I'm not getting money for this. Why don't you guys do it? Like
Yeah.
that type of thing. But I'm stoked for this, to see that. I can't wait to send it to you so you can take a look.
Yeah,
There was
for
something
sure.
else I wanted to tell you about it, but we'll talk about it later.
So, also, Star Wars Rogue Squadron could still happen.
Mm.
Apparently,
This girl might come back supposedly.
uh, Kathleen Kennedy said that Rogue Squadron is definitely something we still talk about, and alluded it that it may not return in the same way, whether it's a movie or whether it ends up being a series space. That's definitely something. So
Should
I
be a
mean,
series.
not mad about it. Ryan Johnson's Star Wars trilogy is not actively in development. Um,
They're just talking about it. That's
yeah,
it's
they're
just
just talking about it. I mean, I still think he should get a trilogy.
Oh
You
no,
know,
I agree. Like again, it's not his fault for what happened.
yeah,
Like
no,
again, everyone needs to understand just because a director's name is on it or writer's name is on it, it's how it ends up being. He made a lot of decisions that again, I understand why they were done. Some of them was just like kind of a big fu to just the previous
yeah,
like writer, but then it's like there was no cohesive thing.
yeah. The
But he definitely should.
overarching issues
Yeah,
were because of Disney.
the disconnect.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was just this disconnect. And to him, if he has his own trilogy and it's very well done, people are gonna like, oh wow, this is great. Like,
yeah, yeah. People will love it. I'm sure.
yeah. Then you're gonna have those people that hated the prequels but now love the prequels.
Yeah, exactly. Um, okay, we also got a new trailer for Indiana Jones and a Dial of Destiny. The next Star Wars celebration will take place in Japan in 2025. They're skipping 2024.
Mm.
And we also got releases of a bunch of other stuff like toys and stuff like that, but I'm not even going to mention those things. But yeah, that was pretty much everything that we've got so
Yeah,
far from Celebration.
we could have literally made this episode just about it, but
We
we
could have made this a 3 hour episode and just talked
yeah
about,
let's
broke down
yeah
everything.
facts.
But that is it for the Star Wars Celebration stuff. But there is a movie. There is a movie that we saw.
When you take a mushroom, we're gonna bring it like this,
So
like that, like that.
if you're watching live on Twitch, you would have saw how Jay made his fingers get bigger. So
Yeah,
we both watched Super Mario Brothers this past weekend, and we're gonna give a small mini review. No spoilers. Um,
everyone dies. No, I'm just playing.
no spoilers, but I think we should have a full spoiler cast. I think
Oh yeah,
this
we
movie
could. It is short
deserves it.
enough to have one. Yeah.
Yeah. But for right now, we're gonna keep it small. We're not gonna take the mega mushroom, just a tiny one.
Yes.
So
What?
right off the rip, what were your thoughts?
I thought it was okay. It was fun, but I thought it was okay. Um,
Damn.
yeah, I like. But the thing is, it's straight up. Yeah, it's my honest opinion.
Yeah, no, no, no. It's
Like
wrong, but that's
I
fine.
went. I guess. When I learned how short the movie was, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, this they really aiming for kids here.
Yeah,
And I sat there. I didn't think it was bad at all. Like this was not like, oh, this movie was trash. I went there. I enjoyed. I laughed. There's so many nods for people that were older and
oh,
grew up with
so
it.
good.
So many nods. No problem with the voices. People, they're just really hardcore nerds. Probably the racist nerds out there that just were like, his voice is. I'm like, shut up. Movie was great, but it was just geared towards kids because it was just like, again, as a film person that looks
Mm-hmm.
at it, was just like things were just very fast paced and I don't know. I would have to think about. We would have to have that longer
Yeah.
conversation on that. But I loved everything about it. Jack Black's Bowser. The Peaches song is great.
So, have you been seeing the stuff that it's eligible for an Oscar?
I'm with it. It deserves it.
So it's eligible for like best original song.
I'm with it. If they get nominated, I'm happy they got that far. But it
Yeah,
deserves it because I was there and I was like, oh, they have to play it one more time,
yeah. It
and they
was just
did.
fun. Yeah.
They did. But again, it's I was I guess I went in there with no expectations too, but I
Mm-hmm.
guess I did have expectations the back like I thought it was gonna blow me away,
Yeah.
but I enjoyed it for what it was. It's not like Lego movie when I saw it for the first time. So
Yeah.
if I were to compare it to that. But a lot of nods that I loved. A lot
Yes.
of nods.
Yeah. Tons. Literally from the opening moment of the movie, there's tons of Easter eggs to be
Like
found.
my inner child when the DK rap played, I was like, yes. I remember playing that as a kid. So I was like, it's so dope to just see that. But
It was really obviously they did their stuff, and like when we see the Mario Brothers, they're in like an Italian restaurant. It's like a pseudo pizzeria type deal.
and this is what in Brooklyn, New York,
Yeah, it's
especially,
in
right?
Brooklyn and all that, and like it's in that little restaurant. There's a billion Easter eggs for especially like hardcore Super Mario fans. You'll find them all. But yeah, I will say like it wasn't a perfect movie. I can't even give it like a 9 because of the pacing. I think the pacing did it a real disservice. If this movie had another 45 minutes, I think it would
Another
have been
45 minutes?
yeah.
Jeez.
If it had another 45 minutes, I think this could have been a 9.
I would have gave it a 20 to 30 minute extra, but yeah.
The only reason I say 45 minutes is because they go through things so fast. I would have loved an extra like 5-10 minutes of Luigi in that Bowser Castle alone.
It would have been a nice haunted man. Like I was expecting more in there, but they just took him away.
Yeah, they just
And
took
there
him
was
right
not
out.
much time spent with Luigi. Like he
Yeah.
was just a hostage for the entire movie.
Yeah, so I was a little disappointed how they did him there. Um, Things that I really loved were stuff like, the fight between him and Donkey Kong I thought was fantastic. You have nods to original Donkey Kong, but also like Super Smash Brothers. Um, I wasn't a huge fan of Fred Armisen's Cranky Kong.
Mm.
I just feel like the voice didn't really fit, but every other character was literally
I had no
perfect.
expectations for him because when I played again, my only Donkey Kong knowledge was 64,
Yeah.
and mind you, no one actually spoke. It
No.
was all word bubbles, so I had to. All you had was the okay and the like the little so like what's his name, Seth Rogen's.
Hmm.
Like I was like, I
I
guess, but
liked
I
it
was
a
like,
lot.
it was not bad, but I was like, I was waiting. Okay, I was waiting for that. I wanted a little nod to that. Only problem here, not a problem, but Lanky Kong wasn't in there. Everyone was there but Lanky
Yeah.
Kong. Yeah, Tiny Kong, Diddy Kong. I believe Chunky Kong was there.
Well, you sure he
I,
wasn't in the audience somewhere?
I would have to watch the movie again to
That's
see.
another thing where like there's so much that I need to watch this movie multiple
Yeah.
times.
If again, I'll say this, it's great for Easter eggs. If you
Yes.
want to just go watch it, you just need to watch it multiple times.
Um,
And just this is not even a spoiler thing. This is just it grossed money so fast.
Ridiculous. It broke the record for
Yeah. I think what was it? What was the fastest growing one? Was it Bugs Life? No.
I don't remember, but it broke the weekend premiere record for I think animated
Yeah.
movies or something.
It was
Like,
so fast. Literally
incredibly
after I
fast.
saw it, 2 days later, it was like 200 mil. I was like, geez.
Because it was something this thing like it
Oh, thank you. Sleepy Voice says beat Frozen. That's what I was thinking.
Frozen. So it literally it was targeted to everyone, and I think it did a really good job at appealing to all audiences. So, but like I said, another 45 minutes would have been great. They could have expanded on some things. I would have loved to see more of Mario and his family because there's characters in that family
Oh yeah, that
that
was such a
like
missed opportunity. I wanted, and that was the thing. As a person, a grown up that has a longer attention span than kids. Speaking of, I wanted to know more about it, but kids are not going to care. They wanted to see the wacky zany.
easily like within his
They're
family you
bad.
I don't know what like I don't know, where they're gonna go. We've already heard that there's gonna be multiple movies that come after this, but like his uncle in it and his dad, they look exactly like Wario and Waluigi.
Mhm.
So I want to know more about that. Is like, will we get a definitive answer that like Wario and Waluigi are like long lost half siblings or cousins or something. You know what I mean? Like they never really talk about the connection to the Mario Bros. There's even some dispute whether or not they're brothers. So will these movies like dive into that stuff? Um,
So the questions you're asking, I would love to know the answers, but kids don't care, and
yeah,
that's where
kids,
they're
and
and
that's
that and that's what their mindset is. Like the people creating this, they're like, let's try to answer these questions, but I don't think kids gonna get. I think, but the thing is, you know what it is? It could be done because Sonic did well twice, and we got a foot. Like if Sonic could do it, they can do it,
yeah, and that's the
and they
thing.
did it with live action people. So that's the thing that's getting me.
You
That's
know,
probably why I'm a little like,
while Sonic is also not a perfect movie, they did it like you said. Like they did the thing. They gave a lot of exposition, a lot of depth to those characters, especially like Sonic and Tails and Knuckles. But like we needed that. We got a lot of Mario and who he is. We even got like tidbits of Peach. I would have loved to see.
Even I would have wanted to see more of
I
that.
would have
She's
loved to see more of Peach. I would have
yeah,
loved to see Toad's background because they didn't even touch on that. He's very clearly a
he's
like
different.
he's like an outsider Toad. Everyone knows him and everything, but like he acts very different from the rest of the Toads
I
in like the
laughed every
kingdom.
time he was on screen when
He
he
was so
whipped out the
good,
pan and then he
dude.
started making the food. But us not. We'll wait. Let's save this.
The
But
moment in the trailer when he spins the pan out after Peach gets the spear, I was it. He's such a great character where I could see him having like an animated special or something, like maybe a
even his
one
own
hour.
movie, I would like to see his own movie. To be
Yeah, like
honest,
I could see him becoming Captain Toad. You know, I
mm,
can see that being a thing and him having, they showed the Toad Council in the trailers, like the Toad Council going with him on the adventures because, he has a group of toads. So, there's so many things that could have gotten a little more a little more
and it
time
didn't.
and
What?
that's why I'm saying that 45
Mm.
minutes to an hour, 5 to 10 minutes on each one of these things really would have elevated the experience and it would have, I think, done the movie justice.
Yeah.
So
Um.
I still loved it. I am definitely gonna like own that thing when it comes out. I'm gonna watch it a bunch of times just so I can see every little thing. Um,
Yeah,
but
what I was
I'm
excited for too
excited for
was
more.
this after what got me hyped was to play all the games that like I know they're secret stuff. Like I haven't played it yet, but I wanted to hop onto Smash Bros. I wanted to hop on Mario Kart just to see if anything just popped up, and I'm sure there has. I just
Yeah,
haven't plugged in
I
my
need I
thing.
need to check Mario Kart because remember we
There,
had that
we did get
update,
the
but
update.
I'm sure that'll be a big announcement when it happens. Like no one's gonna miss that. I would love to have them update like maybe the skins on Smash Bros. Like give
Mm,
like Mario, Luigi, Peach new skins.
mm,
Um, like I think that would be fantastic because it's not like a massive deal. You can even charge $1 for it, like whatever. Like I would pay for those things,
yeah,
but yeah, I mean, clearly we're gonna get more. I'm excited to see more. I'm excited for these questions to be answered. We have people like Jack Black who's like really championing the movie and the sequels. Jack Black wants Pedro Pascal to come in as Wario. Like there's
I
a
actually saw that, and then someone put like, "What about Willem Dafoe?" And I was like,
Willem Dafoe as Waluigi. Why not? There's there's a lot of hype around it, and I have to imagine they're capitalized on it. Even the cast had a good time. They were constantly talking about it. I mean, it was press conferences and stuff, but we've seen when casts don't like the movies, they stay shut up,
"Yeah."
right? Like, but this is something where I think it has a lot of legs, and I really want to see more of it. Um, so with that, we're gonna close it out. We're gonna go into a quick weekly wrap, and then we'll be done for it now. But Jay,
And watching so Super Mario, of course. Um, I actually am curious to see why Sleepy Voice says he's boycotting it, but if you want to write that in, we'll take a look at that later. Um, so what did I see? So I forgot to mention our last rep. I saw Devotion. Did I mention that last time with Jonathan Majors? Great movie. Great movie. It's based on a real part of history.
was that
It,
the airplane one?
yes. I've been trying to see it in theaters for so long, but then and I just never got the chance. But it's on Paramount.
Hmm.
It's such a good heartfelt movie. I don't want to get into like spoiler territory, but takes place back in the day, World War. No, not World War. It is one of the cold. It's somewhere around the Cold War era, just around that time with North Korea and China, between North Korea and China. It's called the Forgotten War. That's what it's called.
Okay.
And he had to deal with like I don't want to say have to deal with racism, but like that's not the prominent thing in there, but obviously it's there.
No.
But he gets a new wingman, and his wingman is very to the T and everything. And something that Jonathan Major's character is always telling him, he's like, I don't need you to fight my battles for me. I've been doing it for so long.
Hmm.
I'm like, just be my wingman. Don't fight my battles. And then there's a point in the movie where you know not to again it's not really it's not spoiler but someone dies,
Hmm.
and then his partner, his wingman, was just like, oh, he should have done this. That was like his instant response. And later on, Jonathan Major's character goes like, you didn't have to say that. Like, dude just died. Like,
No.
you could have given more emotion, or and other points where he's just like, they had a mission, and his wingman just wrote what happened because Jonathan Major's character just like stopped following orders, and he's just like, he did his thing, he did the job, but then he was gonna get like reprimanded or whatever, and he's like, yeah, man, like that's not the same. Like what you just did kind of just would not give me a promotion or whatever, because obviously he's black. It's just not
Yeah.
gonna work the same. And then he goes out of his way to help him out, and then he's like, bro, the slap on the wrist is different when a slap on the wrist on you. Like, and
Hmm.
it's stuff like that. It's just such a good movie. I cried at the end.
Oh wow.
Music is good. I'd watch it again. I thought it was very well done. I feel like not a lot of people talked about it, but
Hmm.
again, because it's Jonathan Majors, he has other movies that they were touting up and going to Ant-Man and Creed. So it's like, oh yeah, Jonathan Majors in this. These are his other movies he's working on. But people need to see this, and it's part of history. Like, people need to know about the thing he did. Um, I saw Me and Gabby saw 1001, another good movie, with Tiana Taylor. I don't know if it's one of those
Oh,
where
no
people are
idea.
not. It's an indie movie, so
Okay.
another one I got teary eyed on, because we both saw the trailer and we're like, oh, I want to see it, but we just have been putting it off. But I saw it. Tiana Taylor plays a mom who also, I'll say this: everyone in that film needs an Oscar. She plays a mom who basically kidnaps her own son from foster care because she just got out of jail, and for the longest time, people are looking for her. So she basically raised this kid.
Hmm.
It's kind of like a different Moonlight. Moonlight was great, but I like this more because it hit close to home. It takes place in the 90s and early 2000s in Harlem.
Mm.
So that's why I like it. It's in a New York movie.
Yeah.
Bro, you need to see this movie because the way it was shot, I feel like they shot this film back then and decided to put it together now. That's what it looks like. Because there's scenes where they have the twin towers, they have like up, how do you get these shots to look very old school? I know there's technology behind it,
Yeah.
but I just still don't get how you can do that. It looks like they went back in time, shot the film, came back and put it together with an old school camera.
Where's it on?
This is in theaters. Like, it's an indie
Oh, it's
movie
in
in theaters.
theaters.
Yeah, 1001. If you ever get the chance, take Erica to see it. If she feels like crying, just letting it out. It's such a good movie, and it's so important. It's so important.
Huh.
And like I said, it's like Moonlight because you get to see the kid as a kid, teenager, and then almost becoming a teenager.
Hmm.
I mean, almost becoming an adult. The kind of like I forget Moonlight, but I think in Moonlight each kid did great, but in this one I like the older actor than the kid actor
Okay.
because I think they both deserve Oscars.
Mm.
Tiana Taylor did great. I forget the guy who plays the dad. The dad, he was the actor. He's in Black Lightning. He plays like one of the villains in Black Lightning.
Mm.
When you hate a character, you know they're doing a good acting
Oh
job
yeah.
in that show. But in the movie, he's great. He really steps up as a father figure. But he has his own problem. Like, everybody has their own problems. I can't speak more about this movie. I want to tell you more. It's so good. Like, you definitely gotta go see it.
Yeah. No,
Um,
I'll check it out. That sounds really cool.
what else? What else? Reading. I'm reading my One Piece. I got to do my One Piece all day, repping East Side. For those One Piece fans, you need to know what East Side means.
East Blue.
Um, yeah, East Blue. Um, what else am I reading? I'm trying to do a challenge for myself where I get back to my reading every
Hmm.
day because it's been a while. And I haven't read any comics lately, but I've been just in my brain creating a new story.
Hmm.
And I just want to jot that down. I'm trying to challenge myself to write too. And then, I'm on my last season of How I Met Your Mother again, so I'm finally at the end there. Um, Gaming. So remember I told you I started playing Sifu, and then my friend just gave me
Yeah.
Guardians. I popped in Guardians, and I was like, "Let me try." It's pretty fun
Hmm.
because, like, I've heard great things about it. It's just one of those that went under the radar for most people.
Yeah.
Popped it in. It it feels like I'm watching a different alternate version of the Guardians movie
Mm-hmm.
with these characters. Love the design. What I love about this, and this is just a little thing, but it's cool because we never really had it, but we did. Um, so I'm in the beginning of the game where they're traveling out in this like big part space chunk of stuff of debris, and Gamora and Drax are in the ship, but when they're talking to you in their comms, it comes up to the controller.
Oh,
So you
that's
hear them.
nice.
So they come up on screen, they're talking, and then the conversations never stop, which is what I like. So whenever they say something, it either prompts you to say something
Mm-hmm.
and you can respond, um, or Drax, Groot and Rocket are talking to each other. But then if Groot is talking to me, and or I say something, Rocket kind of translates,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just I can't really explain. But just the conversation is just very fluid. It's like they put in a lot of work when it comes to dialogue
And
because
it
it's
doesn't.
kind
You
of
don't think it gets like dialogue heavy at any moments? Like, is it too
no,
much?
it's just conversation, like dumb stuff too. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a point where, and this is the beginning of the game where Rocket he said a scoring HUD pops up on your like visor,
Mm-hmm.
and then Star Lord's like, what the hell is this? Did you hack my visor? He's like, yeah, I'm always fixing it. I might as well have done this. So you have to shoot these like things, and whoever scores the most wins the bet.
Mm-hmm.
So like every time I try to beat him. So I think I left off at like 27. He had 25.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are times that he moves ahead, and I'm like, that's not even fair. But
Yeah.
when I see it at a distance, I shoot it from where I am so I could get the points.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's just dumb stuff. So like they're just talking, but it's not like in God of War where once you start riding the sleigh or
Yeah.
going on a boat, that's when they're just giving you story time. They're just talking, which is just normal in real life. You're just having a conversation. So it just fills the air but it's just kind of like distracting in a sense because I want to listen to what they're saying and stop what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I think the best thing about it was just the talking through the remote because I was like, I'd be like, yeah, like I'm going this way.
That's a fun like quality of life thing.
Yeah. It's one of those things where with the PS5, like I know they up the ante on the little ticks of like even the vibrating thing because
Yeah.
depending if you're stepping on metal or you feel the difference on that. But
Mm-hmm.
the added effect of having them on your ear coming through, it's just so great. So I can imagine if I had a headphones into it, it would just right into
Oh
my
yeah.
ear. So it
That's
feels
awesome.
different. So that's what I'm playing right. That's what I'm playing right now. But yeah,
Until
that's
until Survivor comes out, then.
till Survivor comes out. Till Survivor comes out.
Okay.
But yeah. What about you?
Um, for me, I haven't really well. So I watched Super Mario Bros. I saw the Dungeon and Dragon movie. I
Liked it?
liked it. I liked the Super Mario Bros. Movie better.
Really?
Yeah. So I
I
would
had the opposite effect,
I
and I
would
saw it at
I
first.
would give it a solid like 7.5.
Really?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Dungeons and Dragons.
I liked it a lot, but there was just like I it's another movie where I have to watch it again. But there were times where it just dragged for me. I enjoyed the characters, the chemistry that they had, as well as like, nods to the game.
Mhm.
It never really made you feel left out also because I don't know a
Yeah,
lot
I don't.
about.
Yeah, I didn't either, and I felt included.
Yeah, so it was good in that sense. I called the mid credit scene like before it happened. I was like, I leaned over to my friend and I was like, oh, it's gonna be this, and he was like, dude, you're so right. And we waited. The scene popped up, and I was like, yep.
Remind me, because I know I stayed, but I'm like I can't
You remember the
remember.
questions?
We'll talk about it after.
Okay,
We'll talk about it because
but
I totally forgot.
it was like so. I had once the credits started to roll, I saw something. And I was like, oh, it's this. But I would like to see more. I enjoyed the movie. I think it was great. There was a lot of stuff that was like the effects, and I especially love the practical effects that they used. I thought that was like such a good return to form, like
Um,
for like older Hollywood. I loved it. Yeah, those things I really enjoyed, but I felt like some pieces of the story Some of the characters, they were just a little weak, and I just wanted to see more of it. But as a first outing, I thought this was fantastic, and there's no reason why there
Yeah,
shouldn't be more. And we
yeah.
can get maybe like an anthology thing where maybe it's not the same team each time.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah,
That would be great.
because I think this world is, they
It's
gave a
way
lot
too
of
big.
life to the
It's
world.
way too big.
Yeah.
It's not Earth. It's way too big to be. It could be on the level of like One Piece planet, where
Yeah, it's
anything it's so
huge.
lived in. Maybe some of the characters do jump into another one, so it just connects it. Like they're just
Yeah.
doing their own thing. Because oh, I remember the questions now. Yes. Um, like what if Chris Pine doesn't come back? It's just like the girl, the shapeshifter, the
Yeah,
druid.
what
Is that what
it
she's
could just
called?
follow, yeah, the druid and the sorcerer, Justice
Yeah.
Smith and the
And then
shapeshifter.
finding a new group, and it
Yep.
doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be a heist type thing. It could be something else.
It could be the girl. She goes off and maybe she's a thief now when she grows up, his daughter. Like, and she
Yeah,
could do her own thing. Like
yeah,
there's just so much that you could do. I also loved that, they had the paladin in there, the guy from Bridgerton, forget his name, but
I forget to.
I liked how he was like an OP NPC character that was like, "Oh, I'm only here for this part of the journey with you."
Yeah, I picked up on. Like he seems too OP to
Yeah,
be.
so it was cool. I like I said, I love the elements of the movie, but when you brought them all together, there was just some pitfalls for me.
Mm,
But it's another movie that I want to and have to see again to give like a full in-depth thing on. But I saw that the same day I saw Mario. Besides that, I've been really slacking on a lot of shows. I just have been watching like Brooklyn Nine-Nine in the background.
mm.
But I need to catch up with Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Gotta
I
watch
wanted
Bad
to ask
Batch.
so we could talk about it. Dude. Yes,
I didn't watch season 2 at all. I gotta watch that.
you're so
Um,
lucky. You just
and I'm sure there's a couple other ones that I'm behind on, especially One Piece. Um, reading, playing. Um, I've been taking kind of a break. I haven't really played too much. The other day, I popped in, because I have it. I just never played it. Crash Team Racing, the remake, and I'm having a good time with it. It's a fun, just kind of like relaxing game. Um, I popped it in because I only had like 30 minutes, and I didn't want to get into Hogwarts and like
yeah,
start
get
something and then I
lost.
had to leave.
Yeah,
So I still gotta finish that game, but the time is ticking until I can, you know, till I have to rip it away and play a Survivor.
yeah.
Um, and I mean
By
beyond
the way,
that,
speaking of right, did you see the new gameplay trailer?
no,
It's ridiculous. And again, it's not like a story; it's a
yeah,
gameplay trailer. So it just looks
I
like that. I watched because it doesn't say anything
yeah
about story, but I was like, wow, I can't wait. I
yeah
can't.
I saw that was a gameplay trailer. I saw that they showed a Rancor fight, but I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean I'm super excited for that. And I mean beyond that, I think the only game that I'm like quote unquote playing um is Marvel Snap. Like I said,
Okay.
this past week I've really like taken a huge break on gaming. So I think I played an hour or two of Crash Team Racing, and then I played Marvel Snap whenever I had time.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think that's it. And we can wrap it up here.
I
Um,
just want to mention to the listeners. So the reason why Sleepy Voice is boycotting is because he wanted the Italian voice actor to be the voice, and I know a lot of people did, but to be honest, I'm happy that he was even in the movie. Like he technically was in the trailer, like that trailer they made or that commercial they made in the beginning of the movie. That was
that's not
that was
him.
not him.
No, that piece is from the '80s cartoon show, the Super
So that's a
Mario.
different voice actor. That's
Yeah,
not the.
that's Lou Albano,
So and then
the old
what about
wrestler.
when they pull pan out of the commercial, and it's the guy next to them? Who's that? Is that the same voice?
The guy next to them. What he's Oh
They
no,
pan
that
out.
guy. That guy is the actual voice of Mario.
Oh, okay. Because they sound so similar. So I thought it
No.
was just they used the same voice
So
for those
that they
two.
literally pulled that was the theme song from the show in like the
Okay.
90s. The
Got it.
Super
Got it.
Mario
Got it.
Power Hour, I think it was.
Yeah. Okay.
That was the theme, and they just repurposed it for the commercial. But yeah, that
Got
guy,
it.
that
Yeah.
cameo character, is actually that's
Okay. Okay.
Charles
I thought.
Martinet.
Got
That's
it.
the
Got it.
guy
Got
who
it.
gave Mario his voice. Um, yeah, I mean, I had no problem with it. Everyone needs to remember also, even in the words of Charles Martinet, Mario does not have an Italian accent. Mario has a Brooklyn accent, and that's straight from the guy who invented the accent for Mario. And it even came out. Chris Pratt, I saw it all over the place today. He
Mm.
apparently was told to reread because his original accent for Mario was like too Italian mobster. They were saying that he
Mm.
was doing too much of a Tony Soprano
He
thing.
was good. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I get it. I get it. And then seeing this movie, it did well. What I love about voice actors, if I can't tell who it is, like Toad,
yeah,
obviously I knew it was Keegan, but I was like, that was not
he
Keegan.
disappeared in that role so
Yeah,
well.
say it's like Rocket with Guardians.
Yep.
I can't tell you that's Bradley Cooper. So if you can do that for me, you did a great job. If I
Absolutely.
can tell that was Chris Pratt, because like in Lego Movie, I knew that was Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
But this one, it was hard to tell. Like, but the thing is, I kept hearing because I know what Chris Pratt sounds like.
Hmm.
I can kind of tell, but it's still I was able to get lost in this new Mario voice.
For sure. So with that, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to us on Twitter and Instagram. The Average Jays on Twitter, Average Jays Podcast on Instagram, and of course, join in every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on twitch.tv/ The Average Jays so that you can join in on the fun, watch us live, interact with us, and on top of that, we typically do about a half hour to 40 minutes of extra show after the main recording called J&J After Dark, where we will like break down a topic and interact with people in chat and stuff like that. Today we're not going to do that, but typically we do. But yeah, that's just about it. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching, and we will catch you on the next one.
Catch you on the flippity flop.
Bye.